The Entertainment Zone podcast is brought to you by benelmaden.com. Write your own story. Hello everyone, I'm Ben Maden and welcome to the latest edition of the Entertainment Zone podcast. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for this episode taking a little longer than usual to arrive. I've just had so much on and so little time, and that really meant that finding the time to record and edit the podcast was proving difficult. I'm here now though, and boy have we got a show for you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So let's start off with the big news that hit us over the weekend. I am of course referring to the release of the first official photograph of Jared Leto as the Joker in the upcoming DC Cinematic Universe movie Suicide Squad. For those of you who haven't seen the photo, which can actually be seen on our Tumblr at entertainmentzone.tumblr.com, the Joker is seen topless with dozens of tattoos all over his body. The tattoos include a skull in a jester's hat, a grinning smile, playing cards, and the words "ha ha ha" repeated over and over. And tattooed on his forehead is the word "damaged." The Joker is seen wearing a single purple glove, but still maintains his green hair and red lips, although his teeth appear to be either metallic or covered by a grill. Empire magazine wrote, boasting what looks like a cross between a punk and mid-90s rock aesthetic, the Leto Joker certainly has the deranged visual aspects of the character down pat, including a lot of body art. It's true, the Joker does look deranged, and it's certainly a fresh take on the visual design of the character, but I can't help but feel it's a little too much. Hopefully the Joker won't be running around topless for the whole film and instead will soon don his skinny purple suit. There's no denying that Jared Leto is a phenomenal actor, and I truly do believe he'll deliver a great performance in the role. It'd just be such a shame for the character's visual look to hinder what will no doubt be a great turn from Leto in the role. Suicide Squad is about a group of supervillains teaming up to work for the US government. In addition to Leto as the Joker, it also stars Will Smith as Deadshot, Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, Cara Delevingne as Enchantress, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, Jay Hernandez as El Diablo, Adewale Akinnuoye Agbaje as Killer Croc, Karen Fukuhara as Plastique, Scott Eastwood as Steve Trevor, and Jim Parrock as Johnny Frost. The movie is scheduled for release on August 5th, 2016. Next, I'd like to turn your attention to a television show close to my heart, and that show is Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks was a murder mystery with supernatural elements set in a small American town of the same name. The show's main storyline was who killed Laura Palmer, and was told from the perspective of FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper, played by Kyle MacLachlan. The show lasted for 2 seasons in the early 90s, and also had its own prequel movie, Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me. Over the years, Twin Peaks has become a cult classic, and quite rightly too. The show is the brainchild of screenwriter Mark Frost and the visionary director David Lynch. Last year, Twin Peaks fans were overjoyed when the Showtime network announced that they would be bringing the show back for a 3rd season in 2016, 25 years since the show last aired. The 3rd season will be a 9-episode miniseries written by Lynch and Frost and directed entirely by Lynch. All 9 episodes have been written already, and Kyle MacLachlan was signed up to reprise his role as Agent Cooper. However, the project was thrown into jeopardy recently when David Lynch revealed on Twitter that he would no longer be directing the show, as Showtime would not give him the budget he felt was necessary to film the show in the way he envisioned it in the scripts. The news came as a shock to fans, but also to the cast and the network itself. Some have speculated that perhaps Lynch was having cold feet, whilst many others, myself included, feel that this was a public negotiation technique from Lynch, with him knowing full well that he would have the fans' support behind him. Since Lynch's announcement, both the fans of the show as well as its cast have made it clear that there is little interest in a Twin Peaks revival without David Lynch being on board. There's no denying that Lynch is so unique as a director, and many of the show's best episodes were directed by him. The fans of the show have teamed up with cast members including Mädchen Amik, Sherilyn Fenn and Cheryl Lee, who played Shelley Johnson, Audrey Horne and Laura Palmer respectively, to launch the Save Twin Peaks campaign, using social media and hashtags such as hashtag Save Twin Peaks and hashtag No Lynch No Peaks to prove just how much everybody wants Lynch on the show. Since the launch of the campaign, Showtime have said they still hope to move forward with the show, but they still want both Lynch and Frost at the helm. On social media, the cast have insisted that negotiations are still ongoing, but it's yet to be seen if Lynch will budge on the issue or if an agreement between him and the network will be reached. For more information on the Save Twin Peaks campaign, be sure to check out the official Twin Peaks cast run site Facebook page. So that once again is official Twin Peaks cast run site. It's a Facebook page ran by the cast, as I mentioned, Mädchen Amik, Sherilyn Fenn, Cheryl Lee, Kimmy Roberts and Dana Ashbrook. They all contribute to it and are interacting with fans, and both the cast and the fans are coming up with great ideas to raise awareness about how much we want David Lynch back at the helm of Twin Peaks. And your support, if you're interested in this, would be greatly appreciated. Write an email and tweet Showtime, use the hashtag Save Twin Peaks and No Lynch No Peaks, and let them know how we feel and make your voice be heard. And hopefully Twin Peaks will return for its third season next year. Now, talking of television continuations, it's not only Twin Peaks that's set to return. Yes, Fox has announced the return of the XFiles. Creator Chris Carter has signed on to write a 6-episode event miniseries that will air in 2016. Most importantly, though, is that David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson are both on board to reprise their iconic roles of Mulder and Scully. Also confirmed to be returning to the show is Dallas star Mitch Pileggi, who will once again be playing the character of Walter Skinner. Duchovny has also hinted that William B. Davis may return as the villainous cigarette-smoking man, whilst Chris Carter has said that he hopes to have Robert Patrick and Annabeth Gish reprise their roles as John Doggett and Monica Reyes, if their scheduling permits. There's no denying that an X-Files revival has been in demand for a long time now, and interest surrounding the new miniseries will only grow and grow in the coming months. So fingers crossed that Carter, Duchovny and Anderson can deliver something truly special when the show lands in 2016. Now, very recently, Star Wars Celebration took to Anaheim, and what a weekend it was! Perhaps most notable was the release of the second teaser trailer for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and what a trailer it was. I'll admit, I was almost tearing up seeing such a beautiful and exciting trailer. And I mean, come on, who wasn't overjoyed at seeing Han Solo and Chewbacca together again after all these years? However, the new Force Awakens trailer wasn't the only newsworthy thing to come out of this year's Star Wars Celebration. On the final day of the event, Godzilla director Gareth Edwards took to the stage to discuss his Star Wars spin-off movie, Rogue One. Firstly, it should be pointed out that these Star Wars spin-off films are now officially going to be known as Star Wars anthology movies. Rogue One will be the first Star Wars anthology movie and is scheduled for release in December 2016. Whilst the film doesn't start filming until this summer, Edwards did show some test footage for the film. It starts with a deep rumble before showing the trees of a lush forest planet similar to Yavin 4. Birds fly above the canopy as the camera pans up to look out over the tree line, where we see the silhouette of a moon in the sky. The howl of a TIE fighter is heard as it flies overhead and above the trees towards the mountain range on the horizon, outlined by the silhouette of the moon. Now, as the camera perspective shifts and the trees move away, we see the truth. That it's no moon in the sky, it's a space station. It's the Death Star. Over all this, we hear Alec Guinness's lines as Obi-Wan Kenobi from A New Hope. The line in particular that we hear is, "For more than 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic." Then, the outline of the Death Star looms large above the forest planet, and a few bars of the Imperial March are heard as Guinness continues, saying, "Before the dark times, before the Empire." The screen then goes black, and the squawking of battlefield comms, with the sounds of shouts and screaming getting louder, can be heard before cutting to the title card, which reads Star Wars Anthologies, Rogue One. The official plot release for the film reads, "A band of resistant fighters unite for a daring mission to steal the Death Star plans." During his talk, Edwards confirmed that the film is set between episodes 3 and 4, and the absence of Jedi is omnipresent. He added that the characters in the film realise that the gods are not going to save them, and that it comes down to a group of people who don't have magical powers, who band together to bring hope to the galaxy. So far, actress Felicity Jones is the only person confirmed to have been cast for the movie. The film will be written by Cinderella screenwriter Chris Weitz, and it will be based on an idea from visual effects supervisor John Knoll. Now, what's interesting is that Chronicle director Josh Trank was also supposed to take to the stage at Star Wars Celebration and reveal details of his Star Wars anthology movie. However, the director was a no-show, with illness being cited as the cause. Now, some fans are speculating, however, that this is untrue, as the same morning Trank was due to take the stage, the trailer for his upcoming Fantastic Four reboot was leaked online. Star Wars Anthologies Rogue One is due for release in December 2016. And now for some video game news. If you're a fan of the Silent Hill games, chances are you've probably heard of the newest entry of the series, Silent Hills. It was being co-developed by legendary filmmaker Guillermo del Toro and Metal Gear Solid's Hideo Kojima. The main character was going to feature the likeness and voice of The Walking Dead's Norman Reedus. And yeah, that all sounds pretty great, right? Well, sadly, when speaking at the San Francisco Film Festival this weekend, Del Toro said, "It's not going to happen, and that breaks my greasy heart." And now the game's developers, Konami, have confirmed the news by releasing a statement that reads, "Konami is committed to new Silent Hill titles. However, the embryonic Silent Hills project, developed with Guillermo del Toro and featuring the likeness of Norman Reedus, will not be continued. Discussions of future Silent Hill projects are currently underway, so please stay tuned for further announcements." And it really is a bizarre move from Konami, with many fans speculating that perhaps the company may be struggling. There's no denying that fan enthusiasm for the game has been through the roof, and Norman Reedus has been nothing but excited about the project. And when talking about the game in the past, Del Toro said it would make us shit our pants. So what has happened? What does the future hold for the Silent Hill franchise? Who knows? One thing's for sure though, whatever's announced next is going to be compared heavily to Silent Hills, and fan expectations will now be higher than ever. The only good thing that could be taken out of this, I suppose, is that it gives Del Toro more time to focus on his many upcoming movie projects. And to wrap things up, let's turn our focus to everyone's favourite merc with a mouth, Deadpool. In further casting news, we now know that newcomer Brianna Hildebrand will be playing Negasonic Teenage Warhead, whilst Game of Thrones star Ed Skerin is on board to play the villainous Ajax. Already confirmed to star in the movie are Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, Gina Carano as Angel Dust, TJ Miller as Deadpool's sidekick Weasel, and Morena Baccarin as Vanessa Carlyle, aka Copycat. Perhaps the best news about Deadpool, though, is that the movie has been confirmed as having an R rating, meaning we can expect all the violence and craziness we've come to expect from the Merc with a Mouth. Deadpool is due for release on February 12th, 2016. Well, guys, that's it for this edition of the Entertainment Zone podcast. If you like what you're hearing so far, then be sure to subscribe. And don't forget, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/Ben L. Maiden. That's Ben L. Maden. And you can also find us on Tumblr at entertainmentzone.tumblr.com. This podcast was brought to you by benlmaiden.com. All right, take care, guys, and thanks for listening.